Diamond bracelets might make you feel like royalty, but nothing shines brighter than the music that defines a generation. What if we told you that some of the most legendary bands of the 1960s, once the heartbeat of the airwaves, have almost disappeared from memory? Today, we're bringing these forgotten legends back into the spotlight, uncovering the sounds that once ruled an era. So grab your record player, put on some bell-bottoms, and let's dive into 15 more gone groups of the 1960s. Number 15, the Rascals. The Rascals had the hits, no doubt about it. But did they ever get the spotlight they deserved? Well, probably not. New Jersey's finest blue-eyed soul band managed to churn out infectious chart toppers like Good Lovin' and Groovin', but somehow they always seemed just a little under the radar. Fast forward to 2013, and along comes Steven Van Zandt. Yes, that's Steven Van Zandt from the E Street Band and the Sopranos, to give the Rascals their Broadway moment. A full reunion production brought them back into the public eye, and we're here to keep that love alive. Known as the best blue-eyed soul group of the 1960s, the Rascals didn't just dabble in genres, they fused them. Think R&B's soulful grit, garage rock's rebellious edge, and enough musical flair to rival the most skilled show bands. By 1967, with the hit Groovin', they expanded into psychedelic and arty pop territory. And let's not forget the name change, from the Young Rascals to just the Rascals, a move that screamed, "We're grown-ups now!" But one thing's for sure, their music was always ahead of its time, blending pop, jazz, funk, and even gospel. Number 14, the Marcels. Ever heard a song get such a makeover it feels like a whole new masterpiece? That's exactly what the Marcels did. In an era where everyone was trying to stand out, this Pittsburgh-based group rewrote the playbook. Racially diverse and unapologetically bold, the Marcels took Blue Moon, a classic ballad even Elvis crooned, and flipped it into a doo-wop anthem that ruled the charts in 1961. Their version of Blue Moon didn't just hit number one, it sold over 1 million copies, snagged a gold record, and earned a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. Not bad for a group with a tragically short career. They followed up with hits like Heartaches and The Cheeky Friendly Loan, proving they were more than a one-hit wonder. The Marcels were pioneers, blending 50s doo-wop with their signature style to leave an unforgettable mark on music history. Number 13, Manfred Mann. Ever heard of a band that was as much about brains as beats? Enter Manfred Mann, the thinking person's rock band from London. While others leaned on charm or sex appeal, Manfred Mann brought intellect to the British invasion. Their keyboardist and namesake, Manfred Mann, rocked glasses and a beard, making them more about cool vibes than cheeky winks. These guys weren't just smart, they were chart toppers too, with 3 UK #1 hits, Doo-Wah Diddy Diddy, Pretty Flamingo, and Bob Dylan's The Mighty Quinn. They mastered the art of blending rhythm and blues with jazz, creating a sound that stood out in an era crowded with mop-top clones and bad boy imitators. They might not have been as cute and cuddly as the Beatles or as overtly rebellious as the Rolling Stones, but Manfred Mann held their own with sophisticated grooves and enduring hits that still have fans grooving decades later. Number 12, The Fifth Dimension. Now imagine a band that threw the entire 1960s into a musical blender and hit puree. That's The Fifth Dimension for you. This California-based group didn't just stick to one sound. They borrowed from soul, funk, rock, Motown, show tunes, and anything else they felt like sprinkling into their mix. Their breakout hit Aquarius, Let the Sunshine In, became the anthem for the counterculture musical Hair in 1969. Talk about a vibe. But before that, they were known as the Versatiles. Fitting, right? With their lineup featuring Lamont McLemore, Marilyn McCoo, Florence LaRue, Ronald Townsend, and Billy Davis Jr. From soul classics to pop perfection, The Fifth Dimension recorded on labels like Soul City, Bell, and even Motown. Their eclectic sound and unmatched vocal harmonies made them a standout group in an era packed with talent. If you've ever found yourself singing along to Aquarius at the top of your lungs, you've got these trailblazers to thank. Number 11. The Searchers. You might not know their name, but you've definitely swayed to their tunes. Rising from Liverpool's skiffle craze, the Searchers were part of the British invasion, bringing hits like Love Potion No. 9 and Needles and Pins to the world. These guys were the second Liverpool band, after a little group called the Beatles, to score big in the US, proving there was more than one fab act in town. Known for turning other artists' songs into chart toppers, the Searchers had a knack for reinvention. Whether it was Sugar and Spice or When You Walk in the Room, they brought a fresh sound that kept fans dancing through the 60s. Their legacy? A career that spanned decades, a loyal fan base, and a Facebook page that keeps the memories alive. Not bad for a band that started with skiffle jams in their garage. All right, now let's head over to Number 10. Herman's Hermits. What happens when a British invasion band goes for charm over rebellion? You get Herman's Hermits, proof that you don't need to be edgy to top the charts. Led by the dashing Peter Noone, a former soap opera actor, this Manchester-born band took the 60s by storm with their clean-cut image and catchy hits like Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, and I'm Henry VIII, I Am. Discovered by manager Harvey Leesburg and produced by Mickey Most, Herman's Hermits churned out 7 albums, starred in 3 films, and secured 2 Billboard #1 hits. While they might not have had the swagger of the Rolling Stones or the innovation of The Who, they found a niche with their playful, approachable sound. Though their fame faded as the 70s dawned, the band never truly disappeared. Today, Herman's Hermits are still touring and keeping the spirit of the British invasion alive, complete with a delightfully retro website to prove it. Number 9. The Youngbloods. Could a folk rock band survive the chaotic tides of the 60s? For the Youngbloods, the answer was yes, kind of. Emerging from New York's cafe Au Go Go scene, this folk-rooted trio brought a mellow charm to the decade with hits like Get Together. Known for blending blues and jug band influences with California psychedelia, they found a sweet spot in the folk rock genre. Their biggest hit, Get Together, didn't climb the charts until 1969, when it was used in a public service announcement. But when it did, its soulful, heartfelt message struck a chord with listeners and cemented their place in music history. Despite never becoming a major 60s act, the Youngbloods had their moments of brilliance, offering a mix of mature, if inconsistent, tunes. From their East Coast roots to their West Coast reinvention, the Youngbloods proved that folk rock could adapt and thrive in a rapidly changing musical landscape. Number 8. The Shadows. Before the Beatles, the Shadows were the undisputed kings of the British charts. Known primarily as the backing band for Cliff Richard, England's Elvis, they were a powerhouse in their own right. Their instrumental track Apache spent 5 weeks at #1, inspiring countless budding guitarists around the world. With their twangy guitars and lush tremolo effects, the Shadows defined the pre-Beatles rock era. Hits like FBI and Wonderful Land set the stage for a new generation of British rockers, many of whom learned their first chords trying to imitate the Shadows. As the British invasion took off, the Shadows' sound fell out of favor, and the group disbanded in 1968. But their legacy is undeniable. They didn't just play music, they showed an entire generation how to dream with a guitar in hand. Number 7. Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. Costumed rock acts might feel commonplace now, but back in the 60s, Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs were nothing short of daring. Frontman Domingo Sam Samudio wasn't afraid to embrace the theatrical, and his Tex-Mex rock band brought flair and fun to the garage rock scene. Their biggest hit, Wooly Bully, spent 18 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the quintessential party anthem still beloved today. Formed in Dallas, Texas in 1961, the band went through a rough patch before hitting their stride in 1963. After a debut with Haunted House, they signed with MGM Records and released minor hits like Juju Hand and Ring Dang Do. But it was Wooly Bully, with its raucous energy and infectious beat, that shot them to stardom. Sam's playful persona and the band's infectious grooves made them stand out in an era of serious rockers. Decades later, Wooly Bully remains a testament to their carefree, good-time spirit. Number 6. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Now let's talk about a band so bold they didn't just follow trends, they created them. Blood, Sweat, and Tears was the experimental Canadian collective that redefined the 60s music scene with a sound nobody saw coming. Think rock, pop, R&B, and big band jazz smashed together in the best way possible. Their second album, 1968's self-titled Blood, Sweat, and Tears, won a Grammy for Album of the Year, cementing their status as genre-blending trailblazers. Over the years, the band became a revolving door of talented musicians, borrowing members from acts like Frank Zappa's Mothers of Invention. Sure, their studio releases stopped in 1980, but their legacy, still going strong. BS&T wasn't just a band, they were a vibe, turning every horn blast and soulful note into an unforgettable experience. It's no wonder they're still a fan favorite on classic rock stations today. Have you ever cranked up Spinning Wheel or You've Made Me So Very Happy? Thank Blood, Sweat, and Tears for that musical magic. All right, now, let's move to Number 5. Barry Sadler. A decorated Green Beret turned chart-topping artist? That's Barry Sadler for you. His 1966 hit The Ballad of the Green Berets became an unlikely anthem during the Vietnam War era, hitting number 1 and selling over 9 million copies. It's hard to imagine a more unexpected chart-topping act than this soldier-turned-singer. Sadler wrote the song during his medic training, collaborating with Special Forces Lieutenant Jerry Gelt. It was a heartfelt tribute to his fellow soldiers and a surprising hit at a time when peace anthems dominated. But Sadler didn't stop there. He dabbled in pulp novels and even moved to Guatemala for a time. Though his musical career was short-lived, Sadler's legacy is unforgettable. The Ballad of the Green Berets remains a powerful reminder of a complex era, blending patriotism and artistry in a way few could replicate. A soldier, a singer, and a storyteller, Sadler's life was as enigmatic as his music. Number 4. Jan and Dean. Before surf rock was synonymous with the Beach Boys, there was Jan and Dean. This dynamic duo from Los Angeles brought sun-soaked harmonies and infectious melodies to the forefront of the early 60s. With hits like Surf City and Dead Man's Curve, they captured the carefree spirit of California like no other. Jan Berry and Dean Torrance weren't just about good vibes, they were pioneers. Their meticulously crafted harmonies and catchy choruses helped shape the surf rock genre, paving the way for countless bands. Surf City even earned them a gold record, though they often get overshadowed by their better-known contemporaries. By the mid-60s, their chart success began to wane, but their influence remained. From party soundtracks to pop culture staples, Jan and Dean were more than just surf kings. They were innovators who brought California sunshine to the world. Number 3. The Kingsmen. You might not remember their name, but you've definitely sung along to their garage rock classic, Louie Louie. The Kingsmen's 1963 hit turned a simple song into a cultural phenomenon, with its indiscernible lyrics and primal riff becoming an anthem for partygoers everywhere. The Portland-based band stumbled upon success when their raw, unpolished take on Louie Louie hit the airwaves. The song's murky lyrics even sparked an FBI investigation, adding a layer of intrigue to its legacy. Despite being a one-hit wonder, the Kingsmen's influence is immeasurable, inspiring generations of garage rock bands. Though follow-up singles like Money, That's What I Want, and Little Latin Lupe Lu charted modestly, nothing matched the explosive impact of Louie Louie. It remains a timeless party staple and a reminder that sometimes imperfection is what makes music unforgettable. Number 2. The Archies. Who needs a real band when you've got cartoons? The Archies, a fictional group straight out of the comic books, proved that bubblegum pop could dominate the charts. Their 1969 hit Sugar topped charts worldwide, becoming the ultimate earworm and defining the bubblegum genre. Created by music mogul Don Kirshner, the Archies were brought to life by session musicians like Ron Dante and Jeannie Thomas. With Sugar, they became the first and only fictional band to hit #1 without ever performing live. Talk about breaking the mold. Though their chart-topping days were short-lived, the Archies left a sugary sweet mark on pop music history. They even attempted a comeback with a Christmas album decades later because who doesn't want a little extra sugar during the holidays? Fictional or not, the Archies showed the world that music doesn't always need a live stage to shine. Number 1. Procol Harum. One song, 10 million copies sold, and an everlasting legacy. That's Procol Harum in a nutshell. While the band itself might not be a household name, their hit A Whiter Shade of Pale is unforgettable. Its haunting melody and poetic lyrics became anthems of the late 60s and sold over 10 million copies worldwide. Formed in Essex in 1967, Procol Harum fused Baroque influences with psychedelic rock, creating a sound that was both timeless and revolutionary. They dabbled in blues, R&B, and even soul, earning a devoted following among fans of progressive rock. Though their fame never matched the heights of their debut single, the band continued to evolve, earning a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's singles category in 2018. 5 decades later, they're still performing, proving that true artistry never goes out of style. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon in the next one.